Mike Mallett here with Bobby Sweeney from DirtTrackDigest.com. We've just wrapped up, literally, the Outlaw 200 here at the Fulton Speedway, and you'll see the interview exclusively on Dirt Track Digest, but how about it? Michael Maresca, whichever one you want to use, getting it done here tonight, holding off all the big guns to win his first career big race and the $20,000.
Like what we talked about a little bit earlier off camera, Mike was one of the primary contenders in the very first video that we did post-race coverage like this. He got beat in the very last corner by his teammate Tim Fuller. Tonight, he was the one doing all the passing, led majority of the second half of the event, got by Shepard around lap 120, 130, and took off from there.
And again, you mentioned he passed Matt Shepard. Shepard got the lead in the first half of the race. It was actually Gary Tompkins jumped out the lead. I think it was about lap 47. Matt Shepard led to the halfway point. Then it was 120-ish in there that Maresca went around him on the outside, and then he drove away. I mean, it wasn't like he was just good. He was dominant there through the mid to late stages of the second half of that race.
Oh, yeah, he had a fantastic car after the break. He had a great car beforehand, looked to be a little bit better than Shepard throughout clean track. However, Shepard with the big block, a little bit more maneuverable through the traffic. That's what kept Maresca in second for majority of the first half of the event. However, once he got in clean track, Maresca got by and he was clean sailing. Only car that could keep with him throughout the majority of that event was Matt Williamson. Yeah,
Matt Williamson looked great. Ended up finishing in second. You know, a little heartbreak for him, kind of. He was disappointed with the run, but hey, everybody's always disappointed to finish second. Yeah. But the way Mike Maresca was, you know, you can't knock it. I mean, he was so good. And the interesting thing was, there was a caution lap 189. We got 11 laps to go. It was good for Maresca in the sense that it cleared the track, but it also brought everybody back to him, including Matt Williamson. You all right there? That scare you? Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you do it from victory lane here. You know, we got the car in the background.
That's what also happens when it's about 30 degrees outside. However, I don't think a lot of people saw it because they were too busy watching Maresca get into it with a lap car a little bit. Yeah. At the same time that happened, Williamson caught a uke tire. I don't know how much that affected him at the end of the race, but his car certainly wasn't the same after. Right after that happened, Tim Sears instantly putting a lot of pressure on him. Williamson didn't have the speed for the rest of that run, however, almost got him at the end of that.
Yeah, we've lost our background now and the car behind us. We've lost both. Now you just see the Fulton Speedway here. So it was Michael Maresca picking up the win. Mike Maresca, you know, I always call him whatever one. You know, I'm not sure which one ever to call him. Finishing second, as we mentioned, was Matt Williamson. And Tim Sears Jr., you brought him up. He came from 32nd to get third, you know, and I talked to him after the race. I said, it's got to feel pretty good. You've had a tough end of the year here. You know, he lost the Fulton championship in the last night by one spot. He needed the win, came up short, finished second. The Brewerton title kind of went by the wayside when they had mechanical problems. So a third in the Outlaw 200, and he was pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, Timmer had a good run. He didn't have a ton of speed last night. Didn't show a ton of speed throughout qualifying, hence why he started 32nd. But around that halfway point, he started to pick up a ton of speed, showed it late. I thought he might have had something on that last restart, but ultimately couldn't get by either Williamson or Maresca at the end of that.
Yeah, he said he just wasn't. He just didn't fire as well on those restarts. Finishing fourth was Stuart Friesen in Jess's car, and then finishing fifth with the 19 of Tim Fuller. Matt Shepard fades to sixth. Larry White seventh. Danny Johnson eighth. Dave Marchicelli, not a bad run for him, finishing ninth. And Chad Brockman from a provisional starting spot started 44th on the grid. He won the spot at Freedom Motorsports Park earlier in the year. He started 42nd and rounds out the top 10. So impressive run for him as well. Now, the thing we need to talk about, we talked about a couple of guys last night that we expected to be in the mix in this race, and they were not factors, and that was Jimmy Phelps and Billy Decker.
Oh, yeah. Might want to tag on Eric Rudolph to that list, too. Couple of huge names that we talked about last night. We thought were going to be in contention for the win tonight, and we're lap cars at the end of this thing. Pretty disappointing on tonight. So those guys, because those were three guys who could count on tonight being good runs, and it was not for any of them.
You know, I give those guys a lot of credit. You know, you watch them race, and you watch Mike Maresca get by Billy Decker, and Billy Decker just kind of backed out of it, and he let everybody go. He was the consummate professional there. Jimmy Phelps did the same thing. As soon as the leaders got by, he kind of said, okay, that's it. He pulled off the racetrack, headed to the pit area. So those guys, I got a lot of respect for them, and letting those guys, you know, Matt Williamson, Mike Maresca, those guys race it out at the front of this field.
For sure, and Maresca said he wasn't being particularly polite with the lap cars, and I don't blame him. This is the biggest win of his career, by far, by a lot. And when you're battling there at the end, you know you got Williamson, who's always hot in these big races, right on your tail. You got to get a little aggressive with him. And Decker, Phelps, and Rudolph and others were extremely polite in the late stages of that race. I'm sure Maresca appreciated it.
Yeah, and the aggressiveness you're talking about, I think we saw that a little bit with Chris Heil. Heil was kind of running the bottom, and Mike wanted it, and he just said, "Hey, here's my Nerf bar. I'm coming in." But again, he's going for 20 grand, going for the biggest win of his career. So what a great night here at the Outlaw 200. I love surprise winners, and he's been so close, and it's so awesome to see Maresca come through and finally get it done.
Sure. Yeah, the track tonight, I've been to Fulton all but one race this year. Track tonight was a lot different than what I'm used to seeing here. Maybe that played a little bit into the effect of seeing somewhat of a surprise winner in the former Maresca. It wasn't as wide as what you usually saw. It looks pretty similar in terms of color. Yep. However, the black, even standing on the front stretch right now, the black has a lot of grip in it. Yeah. You could hammer the car straight through the middle and be okay. It didn't necessarily take rubber, but it had just a lot of grip to it. I don't know if that's because of the fact that it's almost getting close to freezing temperatures out here, and that's why I'm shivering, and so is Mike. However, a lot of grip, different track than what we've seen all year. Maybe that helped Maresca score the win tonight.
Hey, whatever it was, it doesn't matter. He got it done, and congratulations to him. And again, thanks for checking us out here on DirtTrackDigest.com. We'll have all the latest news notes here from the Outlaw 200 for you on the website here in the next day or so. But as always, thanks for watching. We're ready for Super Dirt Week, so again, stay tuned, and hopefully we'll see you at the racetrack down the road.